सन्देशं तु अति किं वदनीयम्
मम नास्ति तत् सर्वं गुरुकृपा
उत्सुकता जनयति
अन्योस्मि
हरि ओम शुभम शुभम हरि ओम
भास्कर जी
हरि ओम we'll start the Mangalacharana. Let me just गजानन पद्मार्कं गजानन महर्निशम् अनेकदं तं भक्तानाम् एकदन्तमुपास्महे सरस्वती नमस्तुभ्यं वरदे कामरूपिणि विद्यारम्भं करिष्यामि सिद्धिर्भवतु मे सदा या श्रद्धा धारणा मेधा वाग्देवी विधिवल्लभा सचिद्वाग्रसदना शमाधिगुणदायिनी व्याख्या प्रकटित पर ब्रह्म तत्व युवानं दर्शिष्टान्ते वसदृष्टनैरावतं ब्रह्मनिष्ठैः आचार्येन्द्रं करकलित चिन्मुद्रमानन्दं स्वात्मा रामं विदितवदनं नामूर्तिमीडे व्यासाय विष्णुरूपाय व्यासरूपाय विष्णवे नमो वै ब्रह्मनिधये वासिष्ठाय नमो नमः यं प्रव्रजन्तमनुपेतमपेतकृत्यं द्वैपायनो विरह कातराजुभाव प्रेति तन्मयतया सर्वो विनेदुः हृदयं मुनिमानतोऽस्मि स्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं नमामि भगवत्पादशङ्करम् व्याप्तं जगत्येन चिदात्मभावात् रज्ज्वा यथा हिर्हि चराचरं यत् धन्यस्य सर्वं च सदात्मभावे स्वयं समस्तं च बभूव यस्तु निस्सङ्गनिर्मुक्तिपदं प्रपद्य ब्रह्मात्मभावेन विराजितो यः श्रीसौम्यकाशीश महेश्वराय तस्मै नमः स्वामी तपोवनाय समस्तजनकल्याणे निरतं करुणामयं नमामि चिन्मयं देवं ब्रह्मविद्वरं वन्दे तेजोमयं नित्यं ज्ञानप्रभाकरं यस्यैककिरणादेव नष्टा विद्यातमः सदा ॐ जन्माद्यस्य यतोऽन्वयादितरतश्चार्थेष्वभिज्ञस्वराट् तेने ब्रह्महृदायादिकवये यत्सूरयः तेजो वारिमृदां यथा विनिमयो यत्र त्रिसर्गो मृषा धाम्ना स्वेन सदा निरस्तकुहकं सत्यं परं धीमहि कर्म प्रोचित कैटवोऽत्र परमो निर्मत्सराणां सताम् वेद्यं वास्तवमत्र वस्तु शिवदं तापत्रयोन्मूलनम् श्रीमद्भागवते महामुनिकृते किं वा परैरीश्वरः सत्यो हृद्यवरुध्यते प्रकृति तत्क्षणात् Nigama kalpataror kalitam phalam shukamukha damritadrava sanyutam Pibata bhagavatam rasam alayam Rasikaha bhavukaha Vamshi vibhushitakarat navanidadabhat Pitambarad aruna bimba phaladaroshtat Nendu sundaramukhat aravinda netrat Naat param kimapi tattvamaham न जाने ओम नमः परमहंसा स्वादित चरण कमल चिन्मकरंदाय जनमानस निवासाय श्री रामचंद्राय Om everyone. Just a couple of minutes we'll wait. Not yet 9:15. Till then, a quick recap. The first canto described the adhikari, the fit student for knowledge of Srimad Bhagavatam. The second canto describes sadhana, the different practices in order to attain attain Bhagavan, in order to attain Atma Jnana. Then, based on the questions listed by Maharaja Parikshit, the third canto begins describing Sarga, the creation of the basic elements, the building blocks of life, the Pancha Mahabhutas, then the Indriyas, Jnanendriyas and Karmendriyas, the different Devatas, the forces of nature, and the Antahkarana, the mind, the intellect, ego, and the subconscious, Mana, Buddhi, Chitta, and Ahankara, subconscious and ego. So, with these basic building blocks in place, Brahmaji can then further proceed with the work of creation. Remember that Brahmaji, though we call him the creator, does not perform the work of Sarga. Sarga happens through Ishvara. Brahma, the creator, the Devata of creation, only works with the elements created through Sarga to do what is called Visarga, the second stage of creation, combining them in various ways to create all the different jivas and all the different sentient and insentient objects. But the core, Bhagavan makes the mud. Then the potter can make a pot out of it, or a sculpture, or a vase, or a cup, or whatever they want. But the mud is made by Bhagavan. This fourth canto does the work of Visarga. And in this, the importance, the primacy is given to human dharma, because the majority of those who, a vast majority of those who are going to listen to Bhagavatam are humans. Not even Devatas get the chance. Srimad Bhagavati Varta Suranam api Durlabha, it says in Mahatmya. So it's only humans who get the chance. And so the focus in this canto, in Visarga, is on the development of human society, human life. And as we know, our ancient rishis have divided human life into four aspects. They are called the four Purusharthas: Dharma, Artha, Kama, and Moksha. So accordingly, this canto has four main stories. The story of Daksha and Lord Shiva, which we are going to see today, is meant to elucidate the idea of Dharma. Then the story of Dhruva tells the idea of Artha. The story of Raja Prithu describes Kama. And finally, the story of the Prachetasas, Prachina Barhi, and Prachina Barhi and the Purajana Upakhana is an elaborate metaphor that helps us understand the nuances of the concept of moksha. Now, this is the structure of this canto. But the structure, the thread of the story, as you have been seeing, it began with Swayambhu Manu and his wife Shatarupa. And then they had 3 daughters, 2 sons. Akuti, Devahuti, Prasuti, and Priyavrata and Uttanapada. So through these 5 and their further progeny, the story proceeds. So first in the 3rd canto, we saw the story of Devahuti. And that would contain the Kapila Gita, the Kapila. The next sister is Akuti. Her story is not very elaborate because there's not much drama or anything in it. It's very simple. She was given in marriage to a Prajapati named Ruchi. Then Ruchi and Akuti together had children. But you know, the interesting thing is at that time, the post of Indra fell vacant. There was nobody fit to take up the post of Indra. Remember, all the Devatas, Indra, Varuna, etc., are not the names of particular people, they are designations, they are posts. So the Jiva occupying that post can change at any time. So Indra, the post was vacant. Nobody was there capable of taking their place. So Bhagavan said, I will take Avatara and I will play the role of Indra. And so he was born to Akuti and Ruchi, and he became the Indra. And their other Manasa Putri was Dakshina. So this avatar of Bhagavan called the Yajna avatar, his consort was Dakshina. Don't ask, are they brother and sister? How can they be married? Because they are not born of physical conception. These are created through imagination. That is through the power of the mind. So just as in the sleep, we create character for ourselves, we create a wife for ourselves also in the dream, and we create a dream family. Now, all have sprung from me, the waker, but I cannot say that that dreamer and that dreamer's wife are therefore brother and sister. No. It's not for, it doesn't make sense. No. So in that way, this is Manasa Srishti. Therefore, they cannot be thought of as brother and sister, and they got married. Now, having gotten married, they had children, 12 children called the 12 Tushitas. Now, this is important because if we look at the 4th and 5th canto of Bhagavatam, we see a lot of genealogies. This one married that one and they had these children. All their names are given. And they're listed, that's all. Why should Bhagavatam list all this? After all, its interest is in jnana. Its interest is not as a historical document or to maintain family tree. The point is, there is a symbolism. So where there is yajna, where we act in the yajna spirit, naturally, the result is a dakshina is received. Where yajna is, dakshina naturally comes. Yajna and dakshina are inseparable together. Because in law of karma, we do something and that also we do a good selfless deed for the benefit of all, then something good has to happen to us in exchange. That something good in exchange is dakshina. Then when we act selflessly in the yajna spirit and we receive our needs in exchange, what is the result? Happiness. Happiness for ourselves, happiness for others. Various kinds of happiness. Material prosperity, spiritual contentment, right? Peace of mind, all these are different aspects of happiness. So each of the 12 Tushitas has a name like that. Pramoda, Moda, etc. So Santosha, Tosha. So these are names for different types of happiness, different shades of the word. Contentment, sense enjoyment, then peace of mind, joy, enlightenment, everything. So these 12 types of joy are the result of yajna. So we have to understand this as a description of what? Of karma yoga, of acting in the yajna spirit. Same way, all these different paramparas that come, we have to understand through the names of the characters what they indicate and what they are trying to teach us about life. Now we come to the story. This is the story of one second. This is the story of Daksha and Lord Shiva, right? So it is a story of Prasuti actually, the third sister. So you've seen Devahuti, now Akuti. The third sister is Prasuti. She was married off to Daksha Prajapati. Okay. And Daksha, the name itself means very efficient, very skilled. And he was very skilled at his work, but he was not very spiritually inclined. He was very much a materialist. And he was only interested in doing his work, and then his spirituality or his dharma extended only as far as doing rituals, doing yajna yagas, nothing. Okay. Now, Daksha Prajapati had many daughters. Among them, the youngest, his favorite and most loved daughter was Sati. Now, all the other daughters were married off to different Prajapatis and rishis and eminent personalities. Now, at the urging of Brahmaji, Sati Devi was given in marriage to Lord Shiva, which Daksha was not at all happy about. Why? Because he's a materialist. His value is only for money, success, fame, worldly parameters. And for such a person, Lord Shiva has no value. Right? What wealth does he have? Where all the others dress nicely in silk and wear gold jewelry, and all he wears one deer skin or what, and he wears snakes. All his friends also, what kind of company he keeps, we know. Bhutas and Pishachas and all, and wearing the vibhuti. Everybody else has nice powder and makeup and everything, and he has vibhuti from the cremation ground. So naturally, Daksha did not take a liking to him because he did not understand the spiritual value of the person. Now, this situation was already there, that undercurrent of tension. Now, one day, the Devatas had one big yajna was organized, and everybody was invited. Lord Shiva was also there, all the were there. And Daksha came fashionably late. After everybody, some 15 minutes later. Deliberately, not because of traffic jam, but because he wanted to see how people react to his entrance. He wanted to make a splash when he came. So he comes in all his finery, walks in, looks around. All the Devatas stood up. Everybody present, even the priests, everyone stood up, except for two people. One was Brahmaji, who is his father. Therefore, he doesn't have to stand up and give respect. But the second was Lord Shiva. Lord Shiva didn't get up not out of disrespect, not because he didn't want to get up, nothing. He was in Samadhi. He was in that sacred space of the Yagyashala, hearing the Veda mantras. Normally itself he is in Samadhi. So here what can we say? He wasn't even aware that somebody had come out. So he didn't get up. Now Daksha got furious and he started holding Lord Shiva. And this is where we come to some really fantastic shlokas. Because see, among all the Devatas that are present, Saraswati Devi was also there. And she doesn't like all this Shivaninda. She doesn't like people speaking ill of Bhagavan. So she knows they are going to do it. but she plays a trick on them. So the words that come out of their mouth will have the meaning of an insult, but a second meaning will be there, which has the meaning of a stuti also. The grace of Saraswati Devi, that she gives them that chance to save themselves. So Daksha's words are an insult as well as a stuti. Okay, so I'll take those shlokas now. You just start the screen. I am to Lokapalanam Yashagno Nirapatrapaha. This shameless fellow, Nirapatrapaha. Sometimes he doesn't even wear that loincloth properly. He is a disgrace. Yashagno is the one who literally kills the Yasha, the fame of Lokapalas, all the Devatas, all these Prajapatis, all the great people who maintain this world. They are all given a bad name because of this one guy who's behaving like that. What is the stuti meaning, Yeah, he destroys the fame of Lokapalas, right? Because he is so great that compared to him, they seem like nothing. I am the Lokapalanam Yashak. Nirapatrapaha, why? Not aware of the body. He is beyond the body. So let the body be covered in gold or in ashes. Doesn't make a difference. He has no ego, no body identification. Grihitva Mrigashavaksha Pani Markatalochana Pratyutthanaabhivadarbho Vachapi Akrita Nochita. Because my father said, I gave him my daughter, she's Mrigashavakshi, Mriganayani. She has eyes like a deer. She's so beautiful. And this fellow is Markatalochana. He has eyes like a monkey. And he doesn't even know the manners that when somebody older comes, then you should stand up and do namaskaram, abhivade and all that. Forget all that. He is not even looked up and said one hello to me. Vachapi akrita na uchitam. His behavior is totally improper. What is the stuti in this? Why is he Markatalochana? See, Sati Devi calling her Mriganayani and all is perfectly fine. But Markatalochana, why? We are all like Markatas, no? We are all like monkeys jumping from this desire to that desire to that desire. But he has one eye on us all the time, out of Kripa. So he keeps us from jumping into danger. Sometimes he may, out of his compassion, fulfill some of our desires. But he also always looks out for us in a way that makes us calm down, that helps us to eliminate the desire and bring us back. Therefore, because he has that kripa towards us, towards the monkey-minded of the world, he is Markatalochana. And he is Pratyuthana Abhivadarha. Actually, I am the one who should get up and do Namaskaram and Abhivade to him. But, I should, but I'm not able to bring myself. Vachapi akrita nochitam, because what can I say about it? Yato vacho nivartante aprapya manasa saha. Vedas give up, they say that words bounce off him, they cannot touch. So what words can I say? Asma Mada Nathaya Nashta Shauchaya Durhride Datta Bata Maya Sadhi Yodite Parameshtina. Yeah, I was going to get her married. What I thought, some millionaire I'll find and get her married and they'll live in a palace. But my father, I won't even call him, he calls him Parameshti. He doesn't say my father, he calls him by name, this Brahma. He told me and forced me, therefore I gave him my daughter. She's such a pavam, sweet child. She doesn't know anything. So she said, okay. She also could have objected, but she didn't even have the sense to object because she's too innocent. And this fellow, Unmada Nathaya, he is the lord of the mental cases. The mentalist of the mental, the total madman. Nashta Shauchaya, he has no sense of hygiene, cleanliness, nothing. He doesn't even put on sanitizer properly after going to the smashan. No mask also. Nashta Shauchaya. Durhride, he is wicked-hearted. But the same thing has a Stuti version. The same words about Lord Shiva. Unmadanathaya, yes. Even those who are mad, those who are mentally ill or broken down, for them also he is there. But nobody else is there to protect, but he is there for them. That is one meaning. Unmada also, Unmadaha are those who are Brahmajnanis, who have completely forgotten anything of this world and are reveling in joy. For them also he is the head, he is the best among them. Nashta Shauchaya, compared to him, nothing else is purified. He is so pure, so pure, so pure that nothing else can be called pure or purifying in front of him. Therefore, their Shauchatvam is destroyed. Therefore, he is Nashta Shaucha. Durhride, again, like Markatalochana. Dushtaha, like us, the foolish people, the impure people, the wicked people of this world, he holds in his heart with compassion. And he thinks, what can I do to save these souls? What can I do to help them to come back to the paths? He's the most compassionate. And by not taking Brahmaji's name in the Stuti Paksha, it means I don't deserve a father like Brahma because I am not able to show even proper respect to Lord Shiva. Okay. So there are more shlokas, but I'll stop with these few because we have to go ahead with the story. I've given you the highlights, the best. After that, then sometimes you have to get into a lot of grammatical manipulation to get the Stuti Paksha. That will become a little complicated. Now, he did all this. Nandi heard, he got angry, he came. He said, all of you who are speaking against Lord Shiva, no, you don't even have this basic understanding of spirituality. Okay, I curse you. None of you will get mukti. You will remain doing swaha swaha for lifetime upon lifetime. You will be stuck only with rituals. You will not attain jnana. You will not get moksha ever. Because the Lord of moksha, the Guru of the three worlds, Lord Shiva, you couldn't respect. When he cursed like this, then those rishis who were conducting the yajna, they got angry. They said, we curse you, that all followers of Lord Shiva, they will not dress properly. They'll be dirty, they wear matted hair and run around naked. Aghori Babas, they will all be. By all these shapas were being exchanged. Lord Shiva quietly walked off. He thought that atmosphere is disturbed, I will go sit peacefully in Kailasha only. He went to a better place to meditate. Now these guys fought for some time. Then they completed the yajna also, formality. Of course, the whole spirit of it is lost. But still, for the sake of it, they completed the ritual and now after this, that relationship was broken down in Lord Shiva and Daksha. There was not even any communication. One is in Kailasha, one is away doing his work. Now, Daksha, see, remember his name means efficient, excellent, skilled. He is brilliant at his worldly work. So he was so good at the work of furthering creation and all that. He was given a promotion. From Prajapati, he was made Prajapati Pati. Head Prajapati. So he had to celebrate. Now we would throw a party, he threw a yajna. Actually, that was like a party only because the spirit of yajna was anyway not there. But still, it had the appearance of a yajna. He invited everybody except Lord Shiva and Sati. Now, they didn't even know. Lord Shiva is in meditation anyway, he doesn't know. But Sati Devi, he saw some, these chariots flying about, the manas going about. And she looked up and those Devis were there waving at her. And they were specially dressed. They often fly over, but today they were specially dressed up and looking really resplendent. So she said, what is the occasion? Where are you going? You don't know, we are going to your father's house. There's a big yajna going on there. Everybody, he didn't invite you. Then she felt bad. She said, no, no, I'm also coming. You go ahead. I'll come slowly. I have some work. I'll finish it and come. Then she went to Lord Shiva. Our father-in-law, he is having one program in his house. So I have not seen my sisters, mother, father for a long time. I'm missing them very much. And like, it's not a good idea. You know what all has happened. There is nothing, no communication between us. I don't think it's a good idea. Even there, she should have stopped. But no, she pushed further. But I miss them a lot, and I don't think that's as bad as you say and all that. You don't have to come if you don't want to come, but I'll go. No? Please, 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 please. Let's see. You have not been invited. Said, but I don't need invitation to go to my father's friend's house, father's house, guru's house, husband's house. You don't need invitation. Even Dharma Shastra has it. She is giving lecture on Dharma Shastra to Lord Shiva. Lord Shiva says, yes, that is generally true. But if you're deliberately not called and you know they don't want you there, then you should not go. Then she started getting angry with it. It started with asking for permission, but our asking for permission is like that only. The moment that permission is denied, if you say yes, then oh, so loving, what a wonderful husband, what a wonderful father. The moment he said no, she looked at him like she was going to burn him with her eyes. And that angry Sati, she said, I'm going. You don't come, you are always like that. You don't like my family at all. You don't like my parents. You never like them. And you just behave badly on purpose to create a fight with them. I'm going. Okay, go. But I'm telling you now also, if you go, it's not going to be good. You will be insulted over there. You will be miserable. It can lead to the end of your life. He didn't listen. I'm going. That's all. You are just sit here and blabber as much as you want. I'm going. Not Shiva told Nandi, you all go behind her and just make sure that she's okay. So they went. They made a big procession, and Sati Devi went there. Yajna already started. She walked in. Out of fear of Daksha, nobody even turned and looked at her. If they looked at it, turned away and they said. Only people who greeted her nicely were her sisters and her mother. They also were with very with great fear, but with love, they whispered, how are you? And that Daksha did not even look at her. And she looked around and she saw that no place was set for Lord Shiva also. Then she became furious. And she said, you think of yourself as only the body. You have identified yourself with this corpse, and you see all the other corpses walking around also and identify them also as living things. And judge people based on that. And do you know this yajna that you are doing? Every word is a Vedic mantra that is chanted. The greatest among the Vedas, the Yajurveda, the heart of that Yajurveda, right in its center is, you know what is there? Sri Rudram. And in the heart of that Sri Rudram, is the Anuvaka Namah Somaya. It starts with Namah Somaya. And in the heart of that Anuvaka, the central part is Namah Shivaya. So that name of Lord Shiva is the heart of the heart of the heart of the Vedas, saying which all beings are purified, liberated. And you don't value that Lord Shiva? I don't value you. I don't want to have anything to do with you. This body came from you. I don't want this body anymore. And so saying in the Yogagni, she gave up her body in fire. Then Nandi said, something has to be done, right? We are sent to defend her. At least after she has gone, let us do something. And he started going to fight. But there Bhrigu Maharshi was the head priest. He said some suktas and he invoked the deities called Ribhus, who were protectors of the Yajna. So they emerged and they took up the flaming firewood from the Yajna Kundas and started driving away the Shivadutas. So Nandi and others could not stand in front of them. They ran back to Lord Shiva. There already the story had been told by Narada. Live breaking news provided. Lord Shiva got angry and he pulled one hair out of his head and he threw it down on the ground. And that hair turned into a huge, terrifying Asura named Veerabhadra. And that Veerabhadra said, "What can I do, Bhagavan? You have come from me, no? You are my greatest sevaka. You go and destroy Daksha." Yeah, go. And Veerabhadra went like a storm and just thrashed all of them, beat up everybody. The description is very graphic actually in Bhagavatam. All sorts of things which I don't even want to say. They pulled off one Rishi's daddy, broke somebody's teeth, cut off hands, legs, and all. He tried very hard to kill Daksha. He couldn't. Finally, he dragged Daksha, and with the instrument used to kill the animal to be sacrificed, he used that, beheaded Daksha, and threw his head into the yajna. Very graphic. Then all this was going on, the Devatas were terrified because Lord Shiva gets angry and destroy the whole world. Then what happens? So they ran to Brahmaji. Always, you mess up, then run to Brahmaji. Then Brahmaji said, "What did I do? How is this my fault?" Anyway, okay. I'll help you guys. You have to go and apologize to Lord Shiva. He is very chill guy actually. If you say nicely, "I'm sorry," he will forgive you and leave it. So we are scared to go to him. I'll come. I'll take. And they went to Kailash, and there's such a beautiful description of Kailash and Bhagavatam. You should all read it sometime. Aram se. All the trees that are there, the different kinds of birds that are singing, and everything, and all the rivers and all the types of apsaras and devatas that are there. All that is described in very beautiful, sweet language. And in the middle of that, there's a huge banyan tree. And under that banyan tree, Lord Shiva is sitting, giving Vedanta discourse to Narada and other rishis. Vata vitapi sameepe bhumi bhage nishannam sakala muni jananam jnanadata ramarat tribhuvana gurumisham dakshinamurti devam janana marana dukkha cheda daksham namami. See, in the shloka itself, Daksha is also cheda daksham namami. He is expert at cutting off the sorrow of birth and death. Okay, so here, the moment he sent out Veerabhadra, all anger was gone from him. In fact, he was never angry. Brahmaji went, he did all the stuti, namaskaram, everything, and he said, "Bhagavan, these are like children and they are under the spell of Maya. They don't know what they are doing. You should forgive them. And, somehow come and bless and complete that Daksha's yajna and resurrect that Daksha back to life." Lord Shiva said, "Yes, I know. Even I'm not angry or anything. It's just, these kids misbehave. Then sometimes I have to raise my voice slightly to get them back in line. And if kids are not behaving and they start making noise in between, then somebody has to say something." So I did that. But that doesn't mean I'm angry. That doesn't mean I have anything against them. I love them only. They're mine. I'll come. And don't worry, I will resurrect that Daksha also. He doesn't have his head. I'll give him the head of a goat. Because he keeps doing meh, 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 me. So you get the head of a goat. He went back. The yajna was completed. Daksha was given his head back. And when he opened his eyes, he saw Lord Shiva. And all his anger, resentment, everything was gone. He understood his greatness. He did namaskaram. He prayed for forgiveness. Kshantavyo me paratha. Shiva 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 Bho. Shri Mahadeva Shambho. And Lord Shiva, of course, blessed him And then Bhagavan Vishnu appeared. Until then, Bhagavan didn't come. But when love manifested, harmony manifested in the Yajna, Bhagavan came. Then everybody, all the devatas, the rishis, and everyone did their own stutis to Bhagavan. And in the end, Bhagavan blessed all of them. And what happened to Sati Devi? Sati Devi was born again as the daughter of Himalayas. And she did tapas to again return to Lord Shiva. The tapas, she didn't eat even a single leaf. So she got the name Aparna. That's where the name comes. Parna means leaf. Aparna, the one who didn't eat even a single leaf, as she did tapas to gain Lord Shiva. And then as Parvati, she remains ever at his side. So this is the story. Now, how does this story teach us about dharma? You have to think. Sati represents our mind, which has Shraddha, which has devotion for God, no doubt. But it also has attachment towards the world. That pull back towards me, my family, my loved one, all that is there. So although she's staying in Kailasha with Lord Shiva, although she's serving him, she's doing all her duties, she's doing her tapas, everything. But somewhere that pull is there. And at one point or other, it pulls you. And then, samsara being what it is, you get kicked. And most of the people, who are getting kicked, they think, how wonderful it is. It seems like happiness to them. But actually, to those who are more spiritual, those who have tasted, had a glimpse of the real joy, the inner joy, to them, even the happiness of samsara feels like kicking. You get kicked. Then what happens? Or what is the solution? The solution is that Sati has to burn. That part of her which is associated with Daksha, that part of her which is associated with samsara, has to be given up. And when it is given up, then she is born as the child of the Himalayas, firm, unshakable, steady in her faith. Aparna, not even a leaf of worldly temptation can ever pull her away. And such a steadfast, firm mind, single-pointed mind, not a mind split between Bhagavan and samsara, but a one-pointed, harmonious mind. That mind is Parvati. That mind melts into Lord Shiva and becomes his Ardhani. So this is how our Shraddha. Because see, we had seen in the very first canto that dharma, ultimate dharma of all creatures is what? Love. Savai pumsam paro dharma yatha bhakti. To love Bhagavan, to love all beings as one own self is dharma. So this kind of Shraddha is necessary. This kind of mind, a Parvati mind, not a Sati mind, is needed for that dharma to reach its full fulfillment. Not that Sati did not have devotion. Not that Sati was adharma. But that devotion had not yet fully ripened. And therefore it led her into trouble. But in Parvati it was ripened. It was full, perfect. So, this is the kind of mind we have to cultivate in order to live out one aspect. The other aspect, you have to look at Daksha. He is doing all these yagas and all so-called spiritual activities. He is doing his dharma only. And yet it does not give him any happiness or peace of mind or anything. Why? Because it is not Ishvara. It is Ahankar Arpitam. Everything that he is doing is to fatten his ego. The purpose of Yagyas is to give us large projects that we can work on collectively together in a sense of responsibility towards the wider community for the benefit of society, so that our ego gets rubbed off. But if we use that very Yagya to fatten up our ego, then it is counterproductive. That is not dharma. That is what Bhagavatam says. Shrama eva hi kevalam. If that activity doesn't lead to reveling, doesn't lead to joy and peace of mind, then that is only wasted effort. The same Daksha, how is he rescued? So even the Rudraganas, even the very representatives of Lord Shiva are not able to break his attachment to these worldly activities, to samsara. No matter how sattvic, but it's an attachment. Karma and karma phala. Then what is required? Lord Shiva has to remove that hair from his head, from the pinnacle of Brahman. It has to come down to the ground. That hair. That is Brahmanubhuti. Shiva is Brahmamaya. And it is soaked in the water of Ganga because he is Gangadhara. That Ganga water represents jnana. So that person is a Shrotriya, the Brahmanishta, the Virabhadra is the Sadguru. And that Guru has to come and behead Daksha. That mind, that head space that is so materialistic, so attached to worldly activities. I do this, I get that, I do this, I get that. Everything is transactional. That mind has to be cut off and replaced with the goat's head. You know the word for goat? Aja. So here he is called, he said, Lord Shiva says he's Ajo Mukha. That means the head of a goat, but Aja means the unborn. Janma nasti yasya. The one who has no janma is Aja. He becomes Ajo Mukha. He becomes, his attention, his mind is turned towards the unborn, towards the infinite. Then that same person retaining all his skills, all his efficiency, all his dakshata, but with that added element of being Ajo Mukha, that added element of Ishwararpanam, lives a life of success, of great achievement at the worldly level, as well as great peace and inner calm and happiness. For that person, Bhagavan. And you know, what is the shloka Bhagavan says when he gives darshan is Trayanam eka bhavanam yo na pashyati vaibhidam sarva bhutatmanam brahman sa shantim adhigati. Is the one lesson that Bhagavan gives. The Trayanam, all three here in the story represents Brahma, Vishnu, Shiva. But we should take all the other threes, past, present, future. My friend, my enemy, and somebody who's neutral to me. My own three bodies, body, mind, and intellect. Sattva, Rajas, Tamas. The three worlds be seen as one Paramatma. Sarva Bhutatmana, not only Brahma, Vishnu, Mahesha, but all beings should be seen as that one Brahman. Then that person attains peace, nobody else. That is Dharma. Dharma unites, Dharma brings us together. Dharma binds. And that love which makes us melt into Bhagavan, that love which shows us divinity everywhere in all beings. That person may be our worst enemy, maybe a terrorist. But we love them. Why? Not because of what they are, but because of who we are. Love is my nature. I will love. I will love recklessly, indiscriminately. That is Dharma. Where that love reaches its height, its perfection, the presence of Parvati, that love becomes Atma. This is the essence of Dharma as taught by Srimad Bhagavatam, and with the prayer that we may all attain that love, that Dharma, all of us here, listening, and everywhere in the world. I would like to end this session. Next session, we will see Dhruva Charitra. Yo antah pravishya mama vacham imam prasuttam संजीवयत् अखिल शक्तिधर स्वधाम्ना अन्यांश्च हस्तचरण श्रवणत्वगादि प्राणान् नमो भगवते पुरुषाय तुभ्यं कायेन वाचा मनसेन्द्रियैर्वा बुद्ध्यात्मना वा प्रकृते स्वभावात् करोमि यद्यत् सकलं परस्मै नारायणायेति समर्पयामि। हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे। गोपिका जीवन स्मरणं गोविंदा गोविंदा। Thank you all. Hari Om.